steak au poivre is gonna have you applauding your own cooking. Don't laugh because it's not funny. This dish truly deserves to be in the Forgotten Classics category, which is part of a new series where we recreate awesome dishes from the past, which is what we're gonna do today. There's no time to waste. Now let's go! The first thing we need to do is get old Sergeant Gilbert here to cough up some of his insides. And this is one of the only recipes where you're gonna see me using coarse pepper. I'll tell you why in a second. But this one is acceptable. Cough it up, dude! Give me your milk money. It's about a tablespoon of peppercorns. Recipe will always be in the description. And so on this channel, you hear me talking about using fine ground pepper a lot. And that's because when you put large chunks of pepper on a steak, it literally lifts the steak off the pan and you lose that really good sear. But this old French dish really requires a much more thick crust on the steak, a nice thick peppery crust. So as you can see here, the pieces are pretty coarse. The next topic is what kind of steak should you use for steak au poivre? Use whatever kind of steak you want. I've seen it made with filet, I've seen it made with New York strip, like what I'm doing today. I've seen it made with ribeye. It's literally just a peppered steak. So whatever you want to do, just do it. Now I tempered this steak for about 40 minutes so it's not super cold going into the pan. I know some people try to disprove this theory, but you could ask 1,000 chefs, should you temper your meat before cooking it? And 999 of them are gonna say yes. I'm gonna be seasoning this with my rosemary salt, and I'll put a link in the corner right now to that recipe. It's a homemade herb salt with rosemary, sage, garlic, and a little bit of lemon zest, and it is really good. Season it up, both sides, and of course dip up the edges a little bit so those are seasoned as well. And now we'll go on with our nice coarse pepper. You know, this steak, because of all the pepper, is like a little bit spicy. That's how much pepper you're putting. It's supposed to be that way, so don't hold back. Do the other side. All right, I'm just bringing a pan up to high heat here. It's been on there for about 4 minutes, right? I'm gonna add a little bit of high heat cooking oil. That's just avocado. You could do whatever kind of high heat cooking oil you want. That's nice and smoky. I'm just gonna start by searing this edge a little bit, the fat cap along that side of the New York strip. My smoke alarm anxiety has already set in. Set in deep, it's deep down in there. Okay, nice golden brown sear on that fat cap. Now we'll flip it down. And you know, I'm not gonna baste this steak. You'll notice in some of my other steak tutorials, when I am basting meat, I will pull it at like 118 degrees even. Because of all that extra heat from basting, it will really carry over cook a lot more. Meaning after you take it off the heat, it's gonna keep cooking. But if I'm just searing a steak like this, without basting, I'll pull it at 125. That should give us a really nice medium rare. So just about 3 minutes here. We've got a beautiful crust on our steak. We're gonna flip it. Now it's done 3 minutes on the other side. I'm gonna flip back, and if at this point you want to throw it into the oven to finish it off, you can do that. However, I'm just gonna do it now a minute per side until it hits 125. I don't want to turn my whole oven on just for one steak. Now our steak just takes a nice rest once it hits 125 internal. And over here, right, that's all the fond, all that beautiful brown bit stuck to the pan. That's gonna be in our sauce. It's gonna add a lot of flavor, but this is just kind of burnt oil, right? So all I'm gonna do is just wipe that section of the pan out so we don't get any of that into our sauce. Now for the fun part, we're gonna flambe this. And I can't do it right here by my stove. As you can see, there's a big microwave and all these cabinets right above it, which I don't understand. I don't get it. But we're gonna just move over here into this area and light it up. So we're gonna be using cognac for this. If you can't find cognac, just use brandy. That'll work similar. Careful, you do this off the stove, right? Wow. Ha-ho! Okay, when that's pretty much all the way evaporated, we add our beef stock. Now, as you could see, that happened really quick. I like to cook down that alcohol until it's pretty much gone. I just want to get the essence of it, the flavor of it, without actually getting any alcohol. Although there's always going to be a little bit of alcohol left over from cooking alcohol. That's always the case. So now I'm just using a whisk, scraping all those little bits off the bottom. I got the heat just a touch over medium here. And we're going to reduce this down a little bit before we add the next ingredient. Okay, that just reduced for about 2 minutes. Now we're going in with heavy cream. And I don't like a lot of cream. I don't want this sauce to be really light in color. So I'm just going to start with 1 tablespoon. We're just gonna see how that looks. You can do it by color, you know what I mean? You don't have to do it by measurements. Plenty of cream for me. I'm not gonna put any more, so we'll keep reducing that down. And also at this point, I'm adding green peppercorns. This is totally optional. They do have a really nice flavor, and it's just gonna add another pepper flavor to our sauce, which is nice. To me, this looks good color-wise, a nice gravy color. It's not super creamy looking, I like that. And you know, at this point, you can taste it for salt. Should be plenty salty because all that salt that was on the steak. Yeah, for me this is good, does not need any more salt, but that totally depends on how rich your beef stock is and all that, so definitely taste it for salt. Now that is nicely reduced. I can see it starting to thicken up. At this point, turn the heat all the way down to low. You could even turn the heat off if you want. In fact, I'm gonna do that, and we're gonna add little pieces of cold unsalted butter. This can only do a lot of good for the sauce, make it nice and shiny and delicious. So add the butter little by little to taste. I'll have the measurements for you in the description for what I did. Wow, look at that sauce, huh? That is just beautiful. Beautiful. I'm gonna put a tiny bit more butter in and we're ready to plate. There's our perfectly rested steak and we'll just go over with the sauce. I like to leave a little bit of the seared steak available for the eye, if you know what I mean. And we'll just do a little around like so. Well, we've done it. Let's cut into this beast. I'm gonna slice it right in half so we can see the cook. Ooh, 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 juicy. Oh. Ah! Man, if you're a fan of pepper and steak, this is definitely the dish for you. It's really, really tasty. I say it all the time. Classics were popular and good for a reason because they rock. They're just winners. They're just winners. I don't know how else to say that. All right, my friends, thank you for hanging out with me today. And you know the deal. Drop a like, leave a comment if you so wish, and turn on notifications if you want to be a psycho. And I love my psychos. And until next time, my sweet friends, you know I love you and I'm out. My friends, I have partnered with jerky.com to bring you 4 outstanding flavors of beef jerky. If you love beef jerky and you love my cooking and my recipes, then you are surely gonna love this. Now, the jerky is not dropping until July 14th, but there are some things you can do in the meantime because I am giving away a ton of free jerky. We're doing a huge jerky giveaway, but you can't win if you don't sign up. So there's no time to waste, my friends. Just click the link down in my description and you will have the chance of winning a ton of free jerky. Good luck.